Fade into board member seated at table. Jim Batson.
128 Board of Education meeting for October 27th, 2025 to order. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone join.
Everyone stands for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone returns to their seats. Jim Batson.
Okay, we'll start with the roll call.
Nina Austin.
Here.
Jim Batson.
Here.
Raul Deschmuck.
Here.
Doug Flegel.
Here.
Middleish Cotwall.
Here.
West Poland.
Here.
Okay, I'm going to review the agenda real quick. We have some communication items. We'll have actually a celebration of sorts here with some students in the house, followed by public comment, our student school board rep reports, discussing some employer requests and superintendent report. We'll have a consent vote agenda. We'll have one action item that's employment of employees. And then for discussion, we're going to talk about the District 128 MTSS academic support update and a levy review. And followed by some informational items, board comments and events, IASB report. I'll have something brief. CEDAW, do we have a CEDAW?
Nothing.
Nothing, just, okay. We'll review future agenda items. We do have an executive session then we'll go into, but it looks like we will not. We have an item on the agenda for action to be taken, but it looks like we will not have to use that this evening. So we'll circle back to the top of the agenda. And we'll start with our celebration.
Cam returns to podium. Andrew Young approaches the podium.
All right, well, good evening, everybody. Board, thank you. My name is Andrew Young, the proud principal at Vernon Hills High School. And briefly, I'm sure many of you saw, we had an exciting weekend 48 hours ago in our women's tennis program. So I know Coach Gerber's here. I just want to quickly say this. Coach Gerber has been with us all 26 years of this program, 51 seasons of tennis for Vernon Hills. And last year, we celebrated over 500 wins with his leadership at the helm of our programs. And we've had lots of success in the program over the years. And finally, kind of a pinnacle moment with the state championship 48 hours ago in our doubles program. Not to be overshadowed by the women as a whole finishing fourth, a point off of third, as well as a team. So we are beyond excited for them. It goes without saying, this doesn't happen by chance. I knew long about, especially our state champions, going into summer and how much effort and work they were putting into all of this. It's a lot. So we appreciate all of the time. You make us look really good, as always, students. So to Coach Gerber, Coach Obadai, Coach McCarty, and Coach Sorby, thank you and congratulations. I'm going to invite Coach Gerber up here, who's going to talk a little bit about the program, the team, and the success, and we'll give them a round of applause. So everybody, Coach Gerber, our head.
Thank you for that great introduction, and thank you, board, for having us tonight. First, I'd like to talk a little bit about the team before I get to our two players. The team was 11-4-1, and of course, the tie was with Libertyville, so we'll have to settle that one next year. Again, as Dr. Young said, fourth in state as a team, and as we had 8 seniors on the team, we found out tonight that all 8 will be scholar athletes for the CSL, continuing with our tradition of having athletics and scholarship mean everything to this program. Some of the other individuals on our fourth in state team, we had Bella Ugelkoff, who went 2-2. She is all conference as of tonight. We had our seating or our end of season meeting tonight. Emma Jazz Butis finished the year at 25-5, 2-2 at state. She individually has won 74 matches during her career. She is also all conference and a CSL sportsmanship winner as well for our program tonight. So plenty of accolades still coming in here at the end of the season. Now we'll get to our two individuals, Paulina and Camilla. Paulina and Camilla both went 27-0 this season. They were undefeated. Paulina now has the most wins for the girls program with 88 career wins. She has been named all conference as of tonight. Camilla, of course, 27-0. They played doubles together all year. And she too is at least into the 70 win category as a player. The really fact that blows my mind is that in these 27 matches, they didn't drop a set. They did not have to go to a third set. And I think that tells you how strong this team was. These are the two best female athletes we've had in the tennis program. And at the beginning of the season, we said, let's make the run. And they said, we can do it. And we did. And well, they did. I just sit on the sideline. It's all these two. And this is our first state title in any for the 51 seasons that I have been the head coach of this program. And there are a lot of people to thank. As you stated, Dr. Young, coaches Hovedai, McCarty, and Sorby, our AD, Justin Cooper, Dr. Young. It's nice to look out into the fans and see our admin. I will say that other coaches, when they see Dr. Young, he's been out more than once, state. It's nice that the principal comes out and watches these matches. It's nice that the AD is at these matches. It's nice that our superintendent came out for the Libertyville and Vernon Hills match. So we are getting support at all levels, and we really appreciate that. And thank you for letting these individuals in our school district make memories. I don't know if you ever think about it that way, but that's what you're doing. You are creating lasting memories for these kids. They're never going to forget this. I'm never going to forget this. And you guys do this every year. So thank you very much from the girls tennis program and Vernon Hills High School. And for myself, Paulina and Camilla, thank you.
Coach Gerber and a student approach the podium.
So to my right is Camilla Tamarskis. She is a junior, so she'll be back next year. And now to my left is Paulina Masharava. She is a senior. She does want to play in college, and I think we're going the PT route a little bit along those lines. Those are her plans, and it's exciting to see what's going to happen as we get towards the spring.
So we'd like to take a picture. The two of us. Oh, okay.
Students receive certificates and takes pictures with school board members for about the next 30 seconds. Students receive certificates and takes pictures with school board members for about the next 30 seconds. Jim Batson.
Okay, such great news. Thank you and congratulations again. We'll move on. Next item on the communication part of the agenda is invitation for public comment. We had no one sign in. Is there, just in case, is there anyone that would like to speak to the board that didn't sign in?
Pause for the public.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Student School Board Representative reports. Looking forward to this.
Ashva Ramesh.
Hello, my name is Ashvar Ramesh, and today I'll continue to report on student life in our district. Today I'll be sharing student perspectives on our school lunch program. Starting with the positives, student satisfaction with the school lunch is fairly strong overall. From the 330 responses that I've collected in my school-wide survey, the average rating for school lunch was a 3.75 out of 5, with about 2/3 of feedback being positive. Students praised the variety and taste of options, both averaging 3.55 out of 5. and most found portion sizes acceptable. 61% said they were just about right. Participation is consistent too, with 40% of surveyed students eating lunch daily. Finally, there is strong demand for more access, with over 83% of students wanting Cafe 145 open after school for grab-and-go items and beverages, which was an idea proposed by the Food Testing Committee a few weeks ago. Now the areas for improvement. The biggest concern for our school lunch is value for price, which scored lowest at 2.67 out of 5, with 41% of responses being negative. Healthiness also lagged at 3.19 out of 5, with 1 in 5 students rating it poorly. Operational issues matter as well. Only 24% of students said that there were enough options left by their lunch period's end, with 6th period and 7th period lunch periods especially noting a major lack of food options in the cafeteria, and just 40% of students felt they had enough time to eat after waiting in line. I specifically interviewed 3 students during 7th period lunch. While one of them noted that convenience of the vending machines in the cafeteria is amazing, the other 2 noted having access to almost no food options during the lunch period. Students suggest a few clear steps to improve these weaknesses. Address value by adding more affordable options and clearer price labeling. Improve access by staggering production and lunch so later lunch periods, including 6th period and 7th period, still have all the options available. Save time by speeding up lines during peak minutes and adding more grab-and-go options. And to boost healthiness daily with more nutritious lunch options, including vegetarian options with nutrition labels. They also requested to expand service with a pilot for Cafe 145 open after school. In short, students are positive about the variety and taste of our school lunch program, but want more action on value, nutrition, and access. With these targeted changes, the program can better serve everyone. Thank you.
Annika Taletti.
Hello, my name is Annika Talati, and I'm really excited to share how VHHS students have been seeking opportunities through school to incite change in the local community. Recently, the dual credit early childhood education class had a field trip at the CDW at Play. Senior Paige Collier shared that she hung out with different age groups of kids, and it was important for her and her class because they were able to learn and observe kids in real time to see how young children learn and play. For the kids, it was also important because it allowed them to interact with new people and to have new experiences. Students are also involved in planning and executing community events outside of school. Back in September, Junior Vedant Rami hosted and organized a Garba, which is a very fun and vibrant Indian cultural event, with his family. Vedant said that seeing so many students enjoying the music, dance, and food made it all worth it. The night was full of energy, and it felt amazing knowing all the money went to the local mandir or temple. I received a lot of great feedback from fellow students who attended. Another great opportunity for students to learn and gain relevant experiences is the Penwazi program at Advocate Condell. Senior Dia Rajan found out about it through VHHS and shared her interest in applying to the program. As a student who wants to pursue a career in the medical field, I chose to apply to the Penwazi program because it allows students to shadow healthcare professionals and get firsthand experience. I believe this program will help me discover what field of professions appeal to me and prepare me for a future career. Our students are always taking the initiative to go out into the community and expand their knowledge while positively impacting everyone they meet. Providing a database of local opportunities like volunteering and internships specifically to career-oriented clubs at school would foster even higher community engagement of the members. Thank you.
Olivia Bush.
Hello and good evening, members of the board. My name is Olivia Bush, and today my report will highlight 2 meaningful experiences that have recently taken place within our district: the Right Assembly for Freshmen and the D128 Darien College and Culture Tour. On October 9th, freshmen at Vernon Hills High School participated in a truly transformative experience. The day began in small groups where students discussed the Daring mission and took part in icebreakers and conversations about mental health and empathy, all led by senior leaders. After the morning session, the freshmen gathered in the auditorium to hear guest speaker Mike Donahue, unsure of what to expect. Donahue shared a powerful message about empathy, life's challenges, and walking in someone else's shoes. After his talk, several seniors shared personal stories tied to the Right mission's pillars: respect, integrity, trust, and experience. Their reflections led into the open mic session, where the freshmen bravely shared their own stories of resilience, creating an atmosphere of connection. As a senior leader, watching the new class open up so vulnerably was inspiring. This event remains one of VHHS's most meaningful traditions, uniting freshmen and instilling values that shape their high school journey. Additionally, over a 5-day weekend, students had the opportunity to take part in the D128's Daring College and Culture Tour. LHS and VHHS students loaded up on buses to tour 8 schools along the East Coast, including several HBCUs. When asked what inspired her to sign up, Kira Thomas shared that she had never been out of state to visit schools before, and when this cost-effective trip was offered, she knew she had to take it. The group visited Howard University, Bowie State, Morgan State, and Johns Hopkins, and Loyola, Maryland, among others. For me, Howard was my favorite because my interest lies in law, Kira said. Seeing the campuses in person made a big difference for her. It allowed me to see the campus culture, the size in person. It is a huge deciding factor for me. Her favorite memory from the trip was the bus ride back when she was able to meet a lot of friends from LHS. Senior August Mays reflected on the experience as a meaningful opportunity to learn about the history and culture of HBCUs firsthand. We learned more specific aspects of the social life and these colleges. August explained, they noted that the atmosphere of HBCUs was more lively and filled with student life, with different clubs and events happening all around, while the non-HBCU campuses felt a bit more quiet for them. August shared that visiting these schools deepened their appreciation for the role HBCUs play in higher education and left a lasting impression. She says that she is now considering applying to Howard and potentially Morgan State. It feels like home. The culture and community really stood out to me, August said. Both these experiences reflect the district's commitment to creating opportunities that challenge and inspire students, whether through a moment of vulnerability and connection at the Right Assembly or the cultural and academic exploration during the East Coast College Tour. D128 continues to foster an environment where students grow not only academically, but personally. Thank you.
Ava Gradator.
Hello, everyone. Tonight, I wanted to talk about something that I feel so honored to have been involved in. This past weekend, Libertyville performed Les Miserables for our community. I am so honored to have been the stage manager for this wonderful production. With around 110 company members involved in this production, from cast to crew to pit orchestra, I have never felt closer to a company than this show. We bonded over late nights spent at school during Tech Week and the idea that this show was something not many other schools could pull off. As a stage manager, I got to see the show, along with the people in it, grow over the course of the last few months. Sitting in the booth calling cues for our final show yesterday, I was filled with an overwhelming sense of pride at how amazing this production was and how everyone involved always tried their absolute hardest to make this show the best it possibly could be. I wanted to finish off by saying how proud I am of the whole company of Les Mis and that I had the most wonderful time being the stage manager of this production. Thank you.
Good evening. 2.5 weeks ago, Libertyville and Vernon Hills celebrated Daring Day. At Libertyville, while sophomores learned about different career paths through a fair with local business partners, and juniors spent the morning taking standardized tests, the focus for freshman students was on community building and wellness. At LHS, freshmen spent the day immersed in Green Dot, our school's action-based campaign focused on preventing bullying, sexual assault, and dating violence. I was proud to be one of the seniors who served as a Green Dot ambassador. We kicked off the day with an assembly where freshmen played games and were introduced to the Green Dot program. Afterwards, we joined them in the classrooms where our teachers led powerful lessons explaining the importance of the Green Dot program, how each of us can help to combat bullying, sexual assault, and dating violence. I was truly impressed by the freshmen' maturity, respect, and engagement. I'm proud of LHS's ongoing commitment to fostering a community where every student feels safe, supported, and valued. And I appreciate the district's continued support for programs like Green Dot that make this culture possible. Thank you.
Ruhi Patil.
Although this month has been full of excitement, it's also been bittersweet. My cross-country season came to an end, marking my last as a senior. I joined the team sophomore year, and it was hands down one of the best decisions I've ever made. Athletics have taught me grit, perseverance, and teamwork, lessons that have defined my high school years. Running my final race at Adler Park during senior night was surreal, and is a sentiment all our senior athletes are experiencing now that our seasons have ended. Our conference championship was a whirlwind. I had thought I felt prepared for my season to end until I crossed the finish line. When I reached that final chapter, surrounded by my teammates and coaches, I realized how much we've all grown through this journey. It's been inspiring watching my teammates improve both as athletes and friends throughout the season. I'm deeply appreciative of the opportunities LHS provides our athletes where we forge bonds that will last a lifetime. Thank you.
Jim Batson.
Thank you so much. We always learn so much from all of you, so yeah, appreciate your feedback and comments. Moving on, we have a few FOIA requests listed here for the board to see. Then we have superintendent's report.
Good evening, Board of Education, members of the community. 18 Libertyville High School students and 27 Vernon Hills High School students were selected to perform in the ILMEA District 7 festivals. District 7 includes Lake County, Northern Cook County, and Eastern McHenry County with participation from over 100 high schools. Following October auditions, top students on each instrument and voice part were chosen to perform with the District 7 choir, band, and orchestra in November. Outstanding performers from each of the 9 ILMEA districts will advance to the ILMEA State Festival in January. This is the highest individual honor for high school musicians. We're very proud of our talented D128 students and look forward to celebrating those who advance to state. The Libertyville High School Library is one of only 26 school libraries in Illinois to receive a $2,000 Feed Your Need grant from the Association of Illinois School Librarians and Library Book Selection Service Endowment Fund. This competitive statewide grant supports the purchase of new books or ebooks to update specific areas of a school's collection. LHS librarians Clear Green and Melissa Albin secured the grant to expand the LHS graphic novel collection, part of a broader effort to strengthen the school's culture of reading. Research shows that recreational reading enhances mental health, empathy, and critical thinking, which are key components of D128's Daring Mission. Congratulations to the D128 graduates named recipients of the 12th Annual Alumni Achievement Awards presented by the Foundation for Learning. Nicole Tatani Melendez, graduate of Libertyville in 1995, and Nia Powell, who graduated Vernon Hills High School in 2014, will be honored at the Foundation's big event on November 8th. We would also like to welcome representatives from the Foundation to join us now to talk a little bit about this upcoming event. And so here we have Erica Rendell and Diane Phillips for the Foundation for Learning.
Erica Rendell and Diane
Thank you so
Phillips
much.
approach the podium.
My name is Erica Rendell, and I am a proud Vernon Hills High School parent and the chair of the D128 Foundation for Learning. Thank you for just a few minutes of your time. We wanted to come and, make sure everyone was aware of what the foundation does. Our mission is very simple. We want to support success for all students at Vernon Hills High School, Libertyville High School, and transition pathways so that everyone can have innovative learning experiences and that all of their needs are met through their high school career. We do that by focusing on 3 key programs, our Daring Innovation Grants that go into classrooms to drive innovation above and beyond the school's annual budget. We provide resources to students in need, and we support seniors with scholarships.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about the foundation. My name is Diane Phillips, and I am the executive director of the foundation. And the slide that you see behind me highlights the foundation's financial commitment to District 128 since it was founded in 2007. Looking at the PAWs, the blue PAWs summarize what financial commitment we did last year. We had $46,000 that we donated back to the schools. As Erica mentioned, in the form of innovation grants, $20,000, 11 grants that were funded. We have 10 scholarships that we give to our seniors, 5 at each campus, and $18,000 was given to our students in need. At the orange PAW, makes me very proud. Since 2007, we've given over $655,000 back to the school. $486,000 was given back in the form of grants and projects. 219 Daring Innovation grants, 36 scholarships, and something that is increasing every year, the need, but we've given $148,000 back for our Students in Need project.
Pause for slide. Erica Rendell.
So all of this fundraising has to happen somewhere so that we can give this money back to our schools and students. And that happens at our biggest fundraiser of the year, the big event. So we are coming up on our 12th annual big event Saturday, November 8th. It's from 7 to 11 at Austin's Fuel Room. We have a live band. It's actually a alumni parent band from LHS called Sideways. They're fantastic. They played last year. We have a paddle raise, we have a silent auction, and all of that money goes into those 3 programs that we talked about at the start. The funds that we raise next 2 Saturdays from now will be the money that we are able to give back in the most part. So we invite everyone in the D128 community to come join us. If you can't be there in person, you can donate to the foundation online. The QR code that's here will get you to a link to purchase tickets as well as donate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jim Batson.
Thank you so much. It's a great event. Attended it many times, and the band is really good. As a musician, I really appreciate the band. And who knows, they might have a guest artist set in for a couple numbers. Moving on. Consent vote agenda. Does any board member have any items that you would like to pull from the agenda? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the consent vote agenda as presented?
Poland, so moved.
Deshmukh, second.
Okay, any questions, comments? Roll call, please, Carol.
Austin.
Aye.
Batson.
Aye?
Deschmuk.
Aye.
Fliegel.
Aye.
Cotwall.
Aye.
Poland.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, for action, we have an employment of employees report. These were items that came in after our Program and Personnel Committee earlier in the month. So listed here, can I have a motion to approve the employment of employees?
Poland, so moved.
Fliegel, second.
Any questions or comments on this? No? Okay, roll call, please.
Pause for note taking.
Yes.
Yep.
Batson.
Aye.
Deschmuk.
Aye.
Fliegel.
Aye.
Cotwall.
Aye.
Poland.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. We have a couple discussion items here. We'll start with the District 128 MTSS academic support update. Dr. Clint.
Yes, well, thank you very much. We are excited to speak to you tonight about some of the work that we are doing in our, thank you very much. Some of the work we are doing in our schools to support academic achievement of our students. And as you know, our goal is to provide our community with daring graduates. And a big part of that work is to make sure that our students are ready for college and careers and life after high school, and ensuring high academic outcomes for each and every student is our primary mission. Tonight, we're going to talk about some of the academic achievement or academic support efforts, that we're making under our MTSS framework to support our student academic success. So the first thing I want to say is we know that we are extremely fortunate in our district because the number one thing that impacts our students' academic achievement is the quality of our teaching staff, our student services staff, and all of the staff that we have in our buildings. And our teachers and our staff come to work every single day, invested in our students and working very hard to develop their academic skills, provide for them a great experience. I'm going in and out, aren't I? Okay. Tonight, we're going to focus specifically, though, on the Tier 1 and Tier 2 programs and efforts we're making under our MTSS umbrella. We're going to talk about what we've implemented. We're going to talk about how it operates, and then some of the early results that we're seeing at this point in the school year. I can't and I won't overclaim causation, but you'll see the signals are strong that we're trending in the right way. You'll also see that we're investing considerable time and staffing to try to continue to sustain these gains and build upon them. And again,
Pause for technical difficulty.
just do a second. Sorry, I'm having a little, get this set. There we go. There we go. So just want to explain that what MTSS is, because it's something that is said a lot in different school settings, but often misunderstood. And when you think of a traditional high school, you're thinking about thousands of students. And traditionally, the student's success academically was largely on the student and the teacher. And there might have been sometimes some different resources available in the school, but oftentimes it was a one-size-fits-all approach to supporting students. What MTSS is, it is not a program. MTSS, multi-tiered system of support, is really an operating framework for the school. It's an operating philosophy. And what it does is it says, how do we as a school system create a model, a framework for operating where each and every student can get the support that he or she may need at the level that he or she may need it. So it tries to take a big school system with thousands of kids, and it tries to make a more individualized approach to identifying students who may need support, both in the academic or in the social emotional or attendance or behavior framework, and tries to put varying levels of intervention and support for students when they need it. So tonight, I'm going to talk about MTSS, but I'm really only going to focus in on the academic side of the work that we're doing, and I'm going to focus in on what we call Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 are the universal core instructional approaches that all of our staff make for all of our students. This is kind of our sort of routine operating. The way that when you come to LHS or Vernon Hills High School, these are the main things that we do to support each and every student and help all students be successful. We're also going to talk a little bit about Tier 2, and Tier 2 are when students begin to struggle a little bit with the Tier 1 supports, and they need just a little extra scoop of support. We have some interventions that we've been developing to help students academically. Many of these interventions have been something that we've been putting a lot of energy and attention on over the last couple of years, and some of them are brand new this year. And so I just want the board to become aware of what these efforts are, so you have an understanding of when a student begins to struggle academically, how our school system may respond.
Pause for slide.
When we talk about Tier 1 efforts, this I'll go quickly because you as a board have heard about this. This is our Ready to Learn effort. So all students this year are entering classrooms and instructional spaces where each and every staff member is applying universal practices to make sure that they are phone free, right? We started our Ready to Learn efforts back in August with making sure that cell phones were managed in all spaces in roughly the same way. And what that has done is to allow students to have much more ability to focus their attention on classroom learning, connections with their classmates and their teachers, and to be thinking about actively engaging in the content and the activities of the class. We are now moving into the second phase of this work. Our Ready to Learn efforts are not just about taking and removing cell phones. It's about saying, okay, now that we have student attention, what are the instructional strategies we want to use to maximize the learning in the class? That is the work that in our October Institute Day, one portion of our October Institute Day was all of our certified staff members spending time thinking about and talking about the instructional strategies they use to capture student attention and engagement. We asked students on our health and well-being survey earlier this fall a question: during the past 2 weeks, how often did you pay attention in class? We have historical data on this question, and it goes back a couple years. we see that going back a few years, that students would answer that favorably about 60%. Last year it was 72%. We see a 17% increase in the favorable responses to that question, where 89% of students reported favorably of paying attention in class over the last 2 weeks. So we can't necessarily say this is all directly related to our Ready to Learn efforts, but this data is certainly very positive and exciting for us to look at.
Pause for slide.
Also, when we talk about Tier 1, again, talking about things that are available to all students and that support all students' learning, we have two major efforts that we're making to help raise student achievement across our system. One is trying to ensure that all students have access to rigorous courses. So that may be in our college prep curriculum, that may be in our honors or AP or dual credit curriculum, but it's helping students identify where they're at and helping them take calculated challenges about where they're going to grow their skills, because we know that we grow through challenge. And so we want to help raise the amount of students who are entering rigorous courses. But we know when students are taking challenging courses, they also may need support. And so we're finding ways to bring academic support into the classroom setting. The way that we're working on many of these efforts is through our co-teaching and inclusion facilitation. Now, co-teaching is an instructional strategy where you have a general education teacher paired with a teacher who is certified in either special education or in English language learning. In a co-teaching class, you have a college prep curriculum that is the same course taught at the same level as all sections of that course, but you include the extra teacher in the class to help to support the needs of students with IEPs or students who are still developing their English language proficiency. The inclusion facilitator is a certified teacher who has expertise in supporting the inclusion of students, mostly with specific learning needs through their IEPs, into gen ed courses. And like an instructional coach, the inclusion facilitator meets with teachers, helps them learn about their unique students, and helps them develop strategies for their teaching and their assessing of kids in their room, so that students with diverse learning backgrounds and needs are able to have more success in those gen ed environments. Right now, I provided the board and the community a list of our co-teaching classes. On the left are classes that are being co-taught, where a portion of the class are students with specific learning needs through their IEP, and we have a special education teacher providing specially designed instruction to support those students, while we have a gen ed teacher providing the high levels of content and instruction. On the right are our EL co-teaching classes. We have co-teaching happening both at Libertyville and Vernon Hills. And because we know that this is a different way to approach a classroom, we are also providing these teachers support. They have a common prep time where they are able to meet and plan their instruction. And we provide ongoing professional learning for these teachers throughout the school year.
Pause for slide.
Now we start to think about some of the support we offer for students at the Tier 2 level when students begin to struggle academically. And so last year, we had a joint committee that was composed of members of our teacher union, our ESP union, and our administration. And we spent a considerable amount of time looking at the MTSS model, looking at the practices we had in our district, and talking about the things we could do to enhance and strengthen our model. One of the things that we identified was that a primary way that we support student academics is through our, what was used to be called the MASH and is now called the workshop at LHS, and through our ARC at Vernon Hills. One of the things that we discovered was that the number one reason students go to the workshop or the ARC is for math support. And so this year we have intensified the math support that is in the workshop and the ARC by having 2 full-time math tutors in there to supplement the support that our math teachers provide students when they are assigned there on their duties. So the math teachers who are in there on their duties are able to meet the needs of kids coming in for drop-in support, but the math tutors, any math teacher in our buildings, no matter what level of math they teach, can assign a student to work with the math tutors in the ARC or the workshop. So this is a way for students to get individualized or small group support when their math questions go beyond the simple just, I need to meet with my teacher to ask a quick question. This is a more sustained and focused approach to math tutoring. We see some of the numbers that are in place for the students who are seeking that support and being assigned by their teachers to have that tutoring.
Pause for slide.
Another step that we took was to develop 3 interventionist teachers at each high school. So there's 1 in English, 1 in math, and 1 in science. And this is new this year. These are certified teachers in the content area. They have sophisticated knowledge of the content for the department. And what they're doing is they are working with the course teams, largely at the freshman and the sophomore level, to help support the learning of all students in the college prep curriculum. And so they are not tutors. What they're doing is they are working with the teachers. They are connected to the curriculum, and they are creating reteaching experiences for students who are struggling with mastery of the material at that moment in time. So they are helping with reassessments. They're helping develop new lessons for students to have a re-exposure to something that is critical for them to learn in class. And what's really fascinating about this model is that because they are working with the course teams, a lot of intervention models, students get into a hole and their grades start to struggle. And then the interventionist or the tutor is having to play catch up with the students, but they're having to reteach them things that were from a few weeks ago while the class is still moving forward. Because we have this model in place, what's happening is some of these interventionists, they're able to work with students and sustain a relationship with them where they're actually pre-teaching some of the material that students are going to see coming up, so that students have a good grasp and have built some prior knowledge of these concepts before they see them in the classroom. We are seeing very positive results. Our teachers are very excited about this model. The connections with students have also been very strong and very productive. So what you see here are the number of students that are currently connected with these interventionists. And this does not show when the interventionists are going into the classrooms to serve as co-teachers and support in the classroom for all students in a class. These are just the individual students they're pulling and working with on an individual basis or in a small group basis at this time.
Pause for slide.
A third component to the plan that we developed last spring was to intensify our PAUSE program, which focuses on student executive functioning skills, and to build and refine our literacy program and our numeracy program. So these are tier 2 interventions, because what these are is when a student is struggling with some of their executive functioning skills, things like organization, study habits, kind of planning, they could be assigned initially to an executive functioning coach. And the executive functioning coach would meet with the student anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week and do some either small group or individualized meetings with the student to help build some basic executive functioning strategies. And they would kind of practice those strategies with the student. If, however, a student demonstrates through the data they need more support, then they could be assigned a more intensive tier 2, which is our PAUSE program. That is a daily academic period taught by a certified teacher where students are getting more intensive support for homework completion, study skills, and executive functioning development that's based in the Rush neurobehavioral executive functioning framework. We also have intensified literacy and numeracy. So when we find students with skill gaps that are considerable in literacy or considerable in math, they can be assigned to literacy and numeracy. Those are academic periods taught by a certified math teacher or a certified English teacher with a reading specialist background to help build and kind of fill some of the gaps that a student may have had in their background so that the student can be more successful in the gen ed curriculum. You see the numbers there of students who are currently being served in our PAUSE program and our executive functioning coach.
Pause for slide.
Talked about that. I want you to be aware that the district has placed intensive support for these programs through allocation of resources. So not only our ESP staff, but our certified staff FTE. And we see that we've got an attempt to try to have these resources available for students before school, all the way during periods 1 through 8 for students at both of our buildings. And we're really, again, trying to build out a full system because remember, all of our students come to us with very different backgrounds and different experiences and different needs. Some students need just a small bit of support for a short amount of time, and other students need more intensive support for a longer amount of time. In the past, we might have only had one program or one kind of intervention that was sort of designed as a one-size-fits-all. What's happening now in our buildings with our MTSS is we have teams of teachers and support staff and administrators meeting frequently to review student data. They're looking at student grades, student attendance, student social emotional data and behavior. And they're looking at each individual student and groups of students and saying, how are our students performing? Which students are connected to our interventions? Which students might need to be connected to interventions? And now we have developed a much more robust offering so that the students who need just a little have those options. Students who need more intensive supports, we have those options in place.
Pause for slide.
So we are excited by some of the data we see, and data is deceptive, right? We know that somebody who's skilled in data can make data look kind of to fit a narrative. So I just want to help the board and the community understand this data here. This is the percentage of grades that are D's and F's historically at Progress 1 and Progress 2 over the last 5 years. And if you took the y-axis, the vertical axis, and went all the way up, right, we are only showing where it's about 4 to 6%. What that tells you is that historically, the amount of D's and F's in our district have been hovering between 4 to 6 to 7%. So that means 93 to 95% of our grades are A's, B's, and C's, right? So the vast majority of our students in the vast majority of our classes are earning A's, B's, and C's. However, what we're excited about with this data is that when we look at the historical trends and we look at Libertyville and Vernon Hills, at Libertyville, right now in Progress 1 and 2, we see the lowest percentage of D's and F's than we've seen in the past several years. And at Vernon Hills, we see a lower percentage of D's and F's than we saw last year. And so again, we haven't done a study to say this is the exact causation for this, but this is certainly an exciting trend for us and something that we want to commend our students for doing excellent work and for our staff. And we believe our system as a whole in terms of connecting students to support that is supporting academic achievement. With that, I would take any questions.
Questions, comments from the board?
Rahul Deshmukh.
I have a couple. The first question is regarding this MTSS. So you did touch upon it, but how and when do you identify students who would be in need, and what time in the semester do we pick up on that information to provide more intervention to the students?
Yes, so we have what are called our intervention teams, And those teams meet frequently. Is it weekly or is it bi-weekly?
Teams meeting every other week.
Mhm.
So,
You want to?
Ray Albin.
so at LHS, our tier 1 team and our tier 2 teams meets twice a month. When those teams meet, they're reviewing, well, at the tier 2 level, since our focus is primary freshmen and sophomores, they're looking at every freshman and sophomore, every grade that they're earning, and if there's been any grade changes in the intervening time frame. As well as for our math tutors, as well as numeracy and literacy, any student in pause or any student really attending a math class, if they have a grade change, a significant grade change, certainly into a D or an F range, they're getting noticed, picked up upon, and then connected to a resource. So at this point, we're looking through all of the kids.
The reason I asked that question was for freshmen, it's difficult, but in the upper classes, there could be an opportunity where you could look at the freshman data and already pre-identify a cohort of students who may benefit from this type of an intervention early on, and obviously monitor it. But that could be more effective way of trying to see, okay, we are providing intervention right from day one. And this can avoid that catch up that you talked about, that sometimes students fall behind and then you have to figure out a way to bring these students at the same level. So that could be one opportunity. The second question I had was on that component 1, slide 8, I believe. There is, I didn't really understand that slide, and there's a huge difference between LHS and BHS, the numbers. So I got curious about it.
Yeah, we caught that too. Oops, whoa, all of a sudden I sound very loud. We caught that as well. We were looking at that. We think it's a way that the data is being coded at each building a little differently. So we think at Vernon Hills, they're recording all of the students who have come into the MASH for the support in math. And at Vernon Hill and at Libertyville, we think it was sent the data that was students that were just specifically assigned, because the math tutors, if they don't have a student that they're assigned to, they just work in supporting students. So we noticed that discrepancy. We weren't able to kind of determine the exact cause of that discrepancy, but this is what both buildings had reported for their data. So we felt it was important for the board to see that while we continue to dig into that difference.
Appreciate it. And one last one again, just for my understanding, what was the x-axis in the data of the grades that you showed? I just couldn't read that.
Yeah, those are the progress periods. So progress 1 is like the midpoint of first quarter. Progress 2 is the end of first quarter. Progress 3 is the midpoint of second quarter. That's what we're coming up to now. Progress 4 would be the end of first semester. Progress 5, midway of third quarter. Progress 6, the end of third quarter. Progress 7, midway of fourth quarter. Progress 8, the end of second semester. So this shows, it shows the high point historically, right? That's what we call FARCH. That's February, March, the winter doldrums, and that's when we see the highest percentage of D's and F's. So historically that is our rough spot. And the lowest point historically that we see is the end of first semester and the end of second semester, because that's where kids really get into gear to try to make the push for finishing strong.
And I think that kind of even speaks about the quality of the MTSS. And in fact, this slide, then it's been underplayed. I would say it needs to be highlighted, because what it is showing is students are starting off not doing that well early on, but as the intervention is helping the students, at the end of the quarter or end of the semester, we are seeing a significant drop in the number of Ds, and it needs to be shown much better. Same thing is happening again in the winter semester. Students come back from vacation. It's a slow start for students, not paying attention. And then as the semester progresses with proper intervention, their grades are improving. So I think
you've interpreted it absolutely correctly. And what we're hoping is that we would see some changes to this pattern based on some of the new interventions and new data monitoring protocols that we're putting in place.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments?
I do.
Okay, what?
First, I have a comment. I want to thank Dr. Colentus and his team for all the work that you've done. This is a vast improvement from what was originally presented in April of 2024. So I truly appreciate all the work that it's got. I mean, it looks completely different. So thank you. I really appreciate the full-time math tutors. While I think having peer tutors is great, peer tutors, I mean, they can reinforce what's been taught, but if a student's really struggling, having those math tutors is really important. So again, thank you for making that happen. To touch on kind of what Raul was asking about, the breakdown by class or grade, I guess, I would be interested in seeing that just to know as far as like our freshmen, especially when we're doing articulation with our feeder districts and finding out, which students are coming in, if there's schools that are preparing students more or less, because I think it's really important that we share that information with our feeder schools because we want as many kids coming in ready to learn, ready to be successful on day one of their freshman year.
Momentary pause.
Because, is it, like with the executive functioning, is that primarily freshmen? Are they just trying to, figure it out? Because there's a huge learning curve in 9th grade. How can, what can we do to support them? Again, possibly looking at something maybe over the summer, helping them. Because, the ultimate goal is to make sure that we have all of our students ready to learn day one, freshman year. But again, thank you. I really appreciate the presentation.
Rahul Deshmukh.
And can I just give a shout out to the students? I'm in the education field. I understand how important students are, student tutors in connecting with their fellow peers. So you're doing a fantastic job. I encourage your classmates who are maybe strong in one subject to do their part to help the other students. Thank you.
Yeah, Vernon Hills has 125 tutors this year, which is the most we've had since our first year back in 2017, I think. So,
and they play an extraordinary role in helping with like drop-in support and things. And to your point, Ms. Poland, the idea is we wanted to support our peer tutors with bringing in some of our adult math tutors to help with students who need a more kind of steady and long-term presence for their math support.
Yes, and I just have a quick question. How do students become peer tutors?
Yeah, I can answer that. As part of the course selection process, teachers have an opportunity to recommend students, as many as they want as part of during that same process in January and February. And so we kind of take that preliminary list of students and invite them to a meeting in March just to kind of let them know what the program consists of, what our expectations are for them, how we're going to train them, onboard them, what the time commitment looks like that following year. So that happens. There's also an opportunity if, sometimes teachers won't recommend a student because they think the teacher next door is going to recommend that student. And so sometimes really strong students might even get missed. So there's an opportunity for students also to sort of opt in or reach out to us to apply. So there's that, the interview process in April, and by May, we kind of publish the list of tutors. In the last 5 years, we've had a wait list of tutors based on that. The applications are read blindly with several components to it.
All right.
The training starts in the fall.
Other questions, comments? Okay, thank you again. It's really good information and very pleased to see the progress being made in this area. And I know we've always tried to address the needs of the students, but sort of a continuous improvement kind of mindset is always trying to find more that we can do to help them. So I appreciate that. Next, we have a presentation by Mr. Stanley on the levy review.
Hi, not quite as much as a presentation other than we have slides in there from the committee meeting that we went over, and the recording is there to review that presentation. But essentially, if you zoom out, we have the levy, which is the district's annual process for requesting property tax revenue from the county to be assessed and extended. We are estimating based on the law calculation that it'll go up about 3.7%, which is 2.9, which is based on CPI, the rate of inflation, plus additional new construction that has happened in the district, notably Canlan Sports in Libertyville now coming on the tax rolls as a tax-paying body. And so in total, we anticipate about 3.7 as a total increase, so are requesting our levy of 3.9, which gives us a cushion of about 300,000, depending on EAV estimates that we won't know until later. So this is the same information that we shared at the committee meeting a few weeks ago, and then we'll revisit this at the November committee meeting and then at the November board meeting for final adoption.
Okay, so we'll see it more than once. Any questions, comments? I know we went through this in quite some detail at the FNF, so look forward to continuing the process. So next is informational items, board comments and events. Anyone have anything that they've attended lately that was interesting, or any additional comments?
We
No?
can bring up this for the IASB. I know I got this letter in the mail about
Yeah, I did. Probably.
because it says
Yeah.
West Poland.
so this is just a board member update from IASB. I'm sure you all received this letter in the mail about taking a survey regarding their strategic plan. Because it said in here, I also ask that you make sure other members of your board are aware of this process and take the time to respond to the survey. So they want us to respond.
Yeah. So that a couple things with IASB. That thank you for that. I've been out of town, so I haven't looked at my mail lately. But I did know that IASB is embarking on a strategic plan process. So they're interested in any information that feedback that you can provide, that we can provide as board members to the Illinois Association of School Boards. So that's the group that helps support school boards across the state. The other note there is we had mentioned and passed out at a prior meeting the resolutions committee report, including some resolutions for this year. I am your representative, so we'll be voting on those at the joint conference later in November, but we've put that on the agenda item. We'll see that on the future agenda items for the PMP committee meeting coming up in a few weeks. So we'll be able to look at those in some detail to be able to review those and get your feedback on, agreement to what I should be supporting. So that's IASB. We had nothing for CEDAW. The future agenda items here, as you see, mostly for the upcoming committee meetings. We do have an executive session, so we'll be moving into executive session for the purposes of to discuss selection of a person to fill a vacancy on the school board. That's 5 ILCS 120/2C3, as well as the placement in individual students in special education programs and other matters relating to those individual students. That's 5 ILCS 120/2C10. So can we have a motion to move into convene executive session?
Poland, so moved.
Kotwal, second.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Deschmuck,
Aye.
Fliegel,
Aye.
Cotwall,
Aye.
Poland,
Aye.
Austin,
Aye.
Batson.
Aye. Okay, we'll move into a closed session. And as mentioned before, I don't anticipate any action after this. So thank you for attending and good night.
Text on the screen says, "The board is in closed session. End of meeting."